Hello everyone, welcome back to Valley of the Mist Block of the Month. I'm Adriane Ritter.
And I'm Shelley McNeely.
And this is our August 2025 Block of the Month. So for 2025, we are doing house blocks. And this month, we're doing a lighthouse. Those of you that were with us last month, I hope you've recovered from the camper. But, you know, I said we divide up the blocks. That was my crazy block. This is Shelley's crazy block. And she decided to be nice because originally there were light beams coming out, but those were half rectangle squares that were,
we figured to be
very tricky to explain.
Challenge.
So this is a more subdued, maybe this is a daytime lighthouse.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. It's
Yeah.
the daytime. Yeah.
Okay, so Shelley, what fabric do we need for this?
Okay, so this year we are using this focus fabric, which is Poppies Tie Dye by Island Batik. And you're going to need this if you're going to turn in your block for the drawing at the guild meeting.
In September.
Yes.
Mention that now.
Okay. And if you're not going to turn it in, you can use any focus fabric or any fabric you want. We're using this always for our doors.
But let me pause a second. But if you look at our blocks up here on the wall, I mean, this little door fabric is really tying everything together. It looks really good. So
yeah, and you know, it is kind of a crazy fabric for a door, but that leads us into using crazy fabrics for anything else too. So.
Right. Okay, so what else do we need?
Okay, so our focus fabric door is 1.5 by 2 inches. And the sky, you need 2 5-inch squares, and they're for the top section. And 1 2 3/8 inch square, we're going to use that for the roof half square triangle. And 2 3.5 by 4.5 pieces for the middle section.
So she's saying like this is top, middle, bottom, and then the ground. We're just calling that separate. Okay.
Then the window or light, whichever you want to call it, you need 1 1.5 inch square. Then we're going to call the house in 2 sections, 2 colors. So for color 1 for the house, you're going to need 1 2 3/8 inch square. That's for the roof half square triangle. And then 1 inch by 3.5 inch. This goes below the light. Then 1 2 inch by 4.5 inch, and that's for the top of the middle section. Now for color 2 of the house, you're going to need 2 1.5 inch squares. And they go on either side of the light. Then 1 2 inch by 3.5 inch piece, that's the bottom of the top section. Then 1 2 inch by 4.5 inch piece, which is the bottom of the middle section. Then 1 2 inch by 5.5 inch piece, top of the bottom section. I know. Then 2 inch by 2.5 inch pieces that go on either side of the door. Then for the water part, you're going to need 2 pieces that are 5.5 by 4 inches. And for the ground, you need 1 piece that's 2 inches by 12.5 inches. And a number of these pieces are adjustable. Obviously, the things on the side of the sky on either side, the water on either side, and the ground, what we're calling the adjustable pieces to get your 12.5 inches at the end.
Right. So those ones you might want to wait to cut those to see how your sizing is going so that you end up with a 12.5 inch square.
Right.
Okay, so for our first part of this block, we're going to do it in sections, and we're going to start from the top going down. So we end in the easiest one, putting the ground on. Okay, but this first one is probably the most difficult section, and it's not hard, but it does have a lot of pieces.
Right.
So Shelley has pre-made her half square triangles.
The sky and the house one, right?
Are they in?
Well, I can open them up.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They're showing what it looks like before you sew it.
Oh yeah. Well, I have mine. That's not even sewn. So I have one line drawn down the diagonal, or like Shelley does it, she draws a 1/4 inch away from the diagonal, and that's her sewing line. Remember, if you don't know half square triangles, we have another video just on half square triangles called Half Squared. But there's only one in this block, so you make one sew on either side of the line, or sew a 1/4 inch away from the center of the diagonal, and then you trim it apart, and then you're going to trim these to 2 inches square.
Which probably is very little to trim on these.
And then they position, after you make them, they position with a house pieces next to each other, so it makes a peaked roof.
Right. So you sew those two together.
And then the next row will be this part with the light, and you're going to sew those 3 pieces together and press. On the half square triangles, we want you to press those open. Press that center seam open. On these ones, you can press how you want.
Right.
And so you're going to, after you sew those together and those together, you're going to sew those 2 pieces together, and they should fit just right. And then you sew this bottom piece, the house number 1 piece under the light goes on next, and then this house 2 piece goes on after that. And that whole thing, when it's all sewn together, should be the height of these. It should be 5 inches, because these are 5-inch squares. Now, this center section should be 2.5.
Oh, how wide is that?
So they know whether to change their. Oh, it's the width of this. It's the width of the red piece. So house 1, it's 3.5 inches.
Right.
So if this whole piece should be 3.5 inches, if it is, and you'll know because that's what these 2 pieces are already that width. Then you should be able to sew these on with your scant 1/4-inch seam that we're using through this whole block, and you should have 12.5 across.
Right.
So that's all we're worried about. Get 12.5 across. It should be 5 inches tall, but if it isn't, we can fix that later. Because you can make your ground piece bigger.
Okay.
So we're going to sew that whole top section and then come back and see how it looks.
Okay.
All right, we have the top of our lighthouse complete. What next, Shelley?
Let's do the middle.
Okay.
This looks an easy part.
Oh, I thought this looked hard.
Oh, there's only 4 pieces here.
Oh,
I think we can handle it.
Okay. I was hoping there'd be like 20. Oh, that was last month.
That was last month, yeah.
So,
Okay.
what do we do?
Okay, we sew the house piece, 2 house pieces, the house 1 and house 2 pieces that are the same size together. And then you sew the white pieces on either side. The sky.
And I'll
I
tell
should say
you
the sky, not white.
And I'll tell you the secret. It doesn't even matter what order you sew those 2
That's
pieces,
true.
because if you have them backwards, you just turn
Turn
it
it
over.
upside down.
So this one is really hard to mess up. Not that we don't have faith that someone out there can do it.
So if you match the pieces that are the same size, you're
Yeah,
doing well.
yeah. As long as you sew these 2 first and then the other 2.
Yes.
All right.
And then we'll come back for the bottom.
Okay, let's get this done. All right, well, we have a lighthouse that's kind of hanging in the air right now. We probably should put the bottom on it.
Maybe
you think?
so. Maybe so.
Okay, so how do we make this bottom section?
Or do we want to talk about attaching this first?
Oh yeah, we did forget. We did want you to sew those 2 together,
Yeah.
the top and the bottom.
And now it should be 8 inches high
Okay,
and the 12.5 wide,
right.
obviously.
Okay, so how do we sew this door section?
Well, I would start with sewing on either side of the door.
Okay,
And then sew the top on above the door.
and press in between.
Oh, yes,
and then-
obviously. And then the water on either side.
And that section should be 3.5 inches tall when it's done. And you're gonna, after you press it, you're gonna sew it to this upper part. That whole thing should be 11 inches tall.
Right.
And then we're gonna sew on and if it is, fine, go ahead with your ground piece. If it's short, you need to make your ground piece a little bit taller.
Yeah.
A little more than the 2 inches that we've specified. And then you're gonna sew that piece on and we'll be back with our finished block. All right, block number 8 finished.
Yes,
We are just moving along.
I know.
All right, we got kind of a strange village when you put it together. as a
But you know, if
village.
it's a houses, it's a house.
That's right. So yeah, you just have to have some on a lake and some on a,
I don't know.
out in the forest.
Yeah.
We're camping. Anyway, all right, so here we have our lighthouse block done. 12.5 inch square, looks good. If you're doing one for the guild, it's due at the September meeting.
Right.
And we will see you all back here next month.